Hello YouTube, and welcome to another edition to my Get Real series. Here I will not engage in self-censoring. What you are viewing, what you are receiving is not scripted. I do not take responsibility for your reaction to my commentary. You are welcome to share your dissenting views. Comment as you see fit via courteous roads of expression, please. Rarely do I watch my videos after I publish them. However, I felt the need to do so, to view my last video. And after doing so, I wanted to do some proactive work. I wanted to eliminate, if possible, certain stupidity that I clearly see coming my way. So as I travel to my appointment, I will share some thoughts. Many times it becomes easy to peel back a layer and think that you have arrived at the crux of the biscuit. However, this is rarely the case. There is always more to grasp and a deeper level of comprehension available. This does not mean what we gather via discernment is unworthy of mention due to not comprehending the totality of something. Part of the issue surfaces when we think or proclaim we have cornered the market on truth. Think about this. It appears to only be within the context of language that the purpose of a symbol can be decoded and understood. We learn in many ways, but without proper context, we have no reality anchor. Many times when I say look deeper, especially if it pertains to situations that revolve around race, I receive the "I knew it" face. You can detect it in the tone of one's writing. Basically, denouncing my efforts and implying I am adding superfluous detail, that I am dealing from the bottom of the deck, where the social liberal card is present. That at best, all I am doing is providing blacks with a paternalistic slap on the wrist. Look, I do not ignore or downplay distinct patterns. Something is what it is. Many times I can deeply comprehend the frustration of various challenges, especially one placed on me by the folly of the inexperienced or the malignant influences of others. So when I speak of police state and race in the same video, miss me with claims that I am purposefully barring myself and my audience from the consideration of the current sociological and mental cataclysm of blacks. No, I do not co-sign any ongoing self-destructive behaviors or purposefully reinforce the political machinations that shift us around like a cat's paw. Imagine concentric circular movement when you hear my next comment. Inside the illusion of a democratic country, the criminal justice policy can be very much driven by public sentiment and a political instinct to appeal to more negative, punitive elements of the public sentiment rather than to be driven by the facts. So this example alone mandates me to address reality in my current fashion. First, I acknowledge that the police are generating revenue for the courts and attorneys. Therefore, it is unlikely that corruption would be fully eliminated as it oils the machine. I am a realist. Truly, I am. This said, someone stands to profit from the inner cities, especially ones that are predominantly black in makeup, as many appear to be operating in a manner that shows them to be retarded in intellectual development, let's just call it as it is, and suffering from paralysis when it comes to emotional maturity. However, this is not solely self-destruction sponsored by the political left. So far be it from me to scapegoat the government and the police state, nor do I wash my hands of the barbarism that runs from the supposed black ghettos freely, or those that advocates, in effect, for a socialist totalitarian state, an empire where the government controls every aspect of human life. Nor do I turn away from the carnage, which can manifest via engineered public opinion. An opinion routinely shaped and molded by elitist academics and journalists. I do not turn my back on the underlying layers of reality. Reality easily forgotten. Snippets of actuality that empowers our murderous cast of characters. You think things are bad now? You think it's bad now in the inner cities. Let another great national depression or prolonged recession openly hit this country. Then you may realize it is not just Black America that resides in a tinderbox. Surely you can see these engineered realities would make it possible for government to enact a series of reforms that would shift control to the government from the private sector. Both illusions in their own way, but I digress. Our illustrious government would then control not only major sectors of the economy, but the personal lives of all of its citizens. I am speaking of incomes, healthcare, education, communications, the mortgages of our homes, and entertainment. Even access to news and information would fall under the control of the political elite. We all have unique issues that can be linked to various groups. However, I rather look at the individual, and I rather see a larger picture of our reality. One where the funneling of drug money via the youth that are shipped overseas to defend democracy, for freedom, to be all that you can be, for national defense. Where drug money is used to promote a propaganda machine even more insidious than the slogans I just shared. A reality where Americans are programmed before primetime TV. An actuality where many are apathetic of us invading sovereign nations via politics and economics. Where we set up puppet dictators and train future terrorists. Also, that we can have future targets for military invasion and the subsequent stealing of antiquities, minerals, a country's drug reserve, oil, and anything else of value. You know, the same old shit, but dressed better and furthered by technological advances. No, I am not turning my back on the hypocrisy I witnessed in the so-called Black community before the hashtag Black Lives Matter became the latest national craze. An alarming number of Black families reflexively and deceptively defended the criminal presence in their neighborhoods. I see it, and I find it repugnant that others conveniently avoid this reality while pushing Black Lives Matter. I also know it is not a Black issue if one cannot correlate money and possessions with work, though we know the formula can be much more involved than just work, get money, right? Work, have possessions, right? It is a human thing that some people feel entitled to the same things as working people. I am speaking of indulgences rather than a necessity. I also realize the degenerative American culture, not merely liberals that have inoculated certain individuals against work and responsibility. No, this is an American culture inoculation. Many of the things that individuals are taught comes from the culture in which they are raised, whether it be beliefs, habits, or work ethic. So there it is. Considering that, does it not seem logical that we should not narrow one's version of reality, but expand, redefine, understand, expand, discern, sharpen our observational skills, and expand our understanding? When you do, you will see something far more insidious. Oh, and since I am putting it out there, when a boy cries wolf, especially regarding victimhood, then we become callous of the very real predicaments that exist for certain individuals. However, suffering from adverse circumstances does not mean you have to give in to it. You have the choice to fight until you have no energy to do so. This said, the victim mindset causes complacency and impotence of action in many individuals. So if a black person has a self-imposed inferiority complex, then this sets he or she up for failure. And when one points this out, they are not a sellout. I rather focus on realities that are far more pervasive, like when a person is killed by a police officer and a lawsuit is filed by the victim's family. Often lawyers stuff their pockets with public funds that are used to defend the city against the lawsuit, all while the plaintiff's lawyers fatten their wallets with public funds by doing a backdoor deal with the city via their negotiations for compensation. Of course, many families have no idea their attorney is swindling them. This theft and deception is rampant across the USA. It is not limited to wrongful death cases, but also medical malpractice, family court cases, personal injury, estate cases, drug cases, and corporate law. I rather spend time on realities that are massively creating negative consequences. It should be obvious that many attorneys do not care deeply about truth and justice, but we are programmed to think attorneys, police, government, the medical industry, etc. only want what is best for the common good. Fact is, humanity in its entirety is experiencing constant change, massive transformation in various ways. So, black people are not the problem. I would argue we are perceiving some of the worst potential behavior the human condition has to offer. Positive development begins with self, not centering on the perceived shortcomings of others. It is too easy to highlight other people's issues. It is far more demanding to use our energy for our own greatest self-realization. Thank you for listening.